Good morning. Thanks for joining the Kilo Chari Torah Moment of Halacha for Monday, January 4th. We started talking yesterday about the importance of waiting 6 hours between finishing meat, and eating meat. The custom is to start counting when you finished eating meat, not from when the meal actually concludes. For example, if you finished meat at 1:30 and the meal ended at 2:30, you can begin counting the 6 hours from 1:30. This will happen when you're enjoying a nice, leisurely Shabbat or Yom Tov meal. So the meat course will be over and the plates will be cleared away. People will still be drinking tea, maybe having some fruit or a cookie or something like that for dessert and continuing the conversation. So time goes by. But you remember when you actually stopped eating meat, let's say that was, for example, 1:30. So no matter what time you actually bench, say the Birkat Hamazon, get up from the table, the waiting 6 hours begins when the consuming the meat ends. Similarly, one may begin a dairy meal during the 6 hours as long as you don't eat dairy food until 6 hours have elapsed. Let's say for whatever reason you're having milchiks for dinner after that fleshik meal during the day. So you can start the meal, you can wash and say hamotzi, you can have maybe some salad or something that's parv, and then as long as you wait until you start eating the dairy food until 6 hours have elapsed, you are on solid ground. The poskim say there's no need to rinse out your mouth after the 6 hours have elapsed because we assume that by that point there's no actual meat residue left in the mouth. If in fact that's the case, one should rinse one's mouth. If you're in doubt whether or not 6 hours have passed, you can be lenient and eat dairy. Obviously, if it's 2 hours down the road, that's not proper. But if you're not sure if it's 5.5, 5 3/4, 6, or whatever it is, one can be lenient and eat dairy. A person who is ill and needs to drink milk may rely on the Chassam Sofer's opinion that you can wait 1 hour as long as the person makes a bracha charona and after finishing the meat. A nursing mother who needs to drink milk is also considered a chola in this regard and would be allowed to rely on this lenient opinion. The poskim say that a yoledas, a woman who gives birth within 30 days of birth, is also considered a chola. Obviously, she just had a major event happen to her physical being. And there's no need of hataras nadarim. A person doesn't need to invalidate any vows, any informal vows or formal vows they've taken, because one's going back to waiting 6 hours after recovery, after they get their full strength back. Okay, a child who is 3 years old or younger does not have to wait any amount of time between meat and dairy. One can feed that child dairy directly after meat if it's good for the child. We assume that under 3 years old, a child probably is not going to grasp too much the concept of waiting between milk and meat. However, I've observed that some kids are pretty sharp, and you can start training them even before that to explain that we wait after we eat meat until we're allowed to have dairy, just to introduce that concept. Obviously, they have no idea of 3 hours versus 6 hours, or the custom of German Jews versus Polish Jews, but you could certainly introduce the concept. He continues to say that the child's mouth should be cleaned out as well, because you don't want to feed them feed them forbidden foods, have the taste of meat together with the taste of milk in their mouths. Child over 3 years old should be trained according to their ability to wait additional time. You add a little bit of time as they increase in age. By the time a child's 9 or 10, they could be trained to wait the appropriate 6 hours between meat and dairy. Rabbi Belsky notes that his opinion is that when the child starts going to school, they should already wait 6 hours. So when they're already 6 or 7 years old, going to kindergarten or first grade, that's already a good time for them to be trained appropriately. Now, what about overnight? If you eat meat late at night and go to sleep, you still have to wait 6 hours. Sleep does not exempt a person from waiting. So if you had those hot dogs at 1 o'clock in the morning, went to sleep at 1:30 and woke up at 6, you still can't have milk in your coffee. You do have to wait until 7 a.m. You have to wait till 6 hours goes by, even though you were asleep for part of it. Okay, a couple of more points about this. So we will continue tomorrow. Please join us then. For the meantime, have a wonderful day.